Man, this is hard. Because the microphone is like in my face, so it's not. There's like no clearance to like move. Oh shit! Hold on. Yeah. What's going on? What's going on? All right. Hey, good morning. Welcome. uh, um, welcome to yet another episode of Stone Lapis Lazuli. It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo. Hello. Good morning. I made it. I made it. Yes, here I am. What freaked me out was that this that pig right there, like walked over my view, and since I can't really see what's going on, I didn't know it was a pig and not some like monster that had walked out of the caves. So I don't know. So hey, welcome. Thank you for making it back for yet another episode. I got this new angle going, and it's kind of weird. I don't know if I like it, but that's the way it is. Hey, I have not been playing Minecraft much still. I've been playing that Elden Ring. Playing that Elden Ring. Uh, Still, every time I think I have all the content, like something happens and it sucks me back in. So, like last night, I was all preparing to start the new game plus, my first new game plus, and I've been like stalling on it for like a week because I keep finding things I need to do before I go, and like dungeons I haven't finished. Uh, I've been finding dungeons I haven't finished, so it makes it difficult to get stuff done because I'm always finding new stuff I need to do. So I'm like, oh my gosh, keep getting pulled back in every time. But that's okay. I mean, right? I'm getting my money's worth. That's what I paid for, right? This is what you wanted. So Deska, so Destiny. All right. Soka. Eh. Um yeah. So I've been playing Elden Ring. And something that I noticed on Elden Ring, which might be applicable to our oh shit, there's another freaking cave under here. Um, what might be applicable to our situation is the idea of soft caps. Like I think that's finally our way of explaining the pointlessness of accumulated wealth. That it's not as like I need to make like torches. Hold on. The pointlessness of accumulated wealth. Hey, didn't I just see coal right there? Yeah, nice. Okay. Like, why do you, okay, so in Elden Ring, sure, you can dump points like you're like okay, so you get level. Every level you go up, you get 1 point to apply to your build. Your very I think there's like 5 or 6 different statistics about your character that you can level up. So after like 100 or so levels, 150 levels, you have a pretty sizable pool to allocate resources to. So if you're going a primarily strength build, um, you're you would want to at first just dump all your resources into strength. But there comes a point, a level at which dumping more resources into strength has diminishing returns. You get less back for what you put in. So it takes more work to get the same benefit. Instead of putting 1 point in and getting 2 points of attack, to get 2 points of attack, you need to put in three uh three levels. Well, then you start questioning. Well, wait a minute. What other things am I neglecting? Because it's not a zero sum game. You start asking yourself, what else am I neglecting? What else am I, what else could I be directing those resources to where I would get a better return? Because, it's not always about strength in Elden Ring. If a monster hits you, it doesn't matter how strong you are. If you've got no health points, no vigor, you're gonna die, and you're gonna fall over with all your strength. You're gonna fall over and be dead. Like it doesn't matter. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So hold on. Let me do this real quick. Oh no, I can't do that. Putting tracks on dirt, that's unheard of. Um what was I even talking about? Soft caps, diminishing returns, better to allocate those resources to another statistic that is maybe not your prime stat, but even putting just a little bit of resources towards it will have great returns. So like a guy like Elon Musk dumped all his, like, he just like, yeah, he just wants money, and the United States doesn't tax him at all. At least, I mean, they do, but not to the level they need to. I say Elon Musk, but I mean Elon Musk and all his ilk, all his oligarch billionaire ilk. All right. That way I can move this over to here and have it less, that, like, there was no, I don't know why. I don't know why I made a big, well, it's because all the trees were there, so I couldn't see what I was doing. If all the trees were there, I couldn't see. That's why I don't. I mean, maybe that's why I made a turn. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't believe enough. I don't know. Let's do that one. There we go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. So yeah, diminishing returns, soft caps. There's a soft cap. Now, I don't think the United States has a soft cap, but I think we need to, because look what happened. Um, the United States dumped a bunch of money into its people during the pandemic. Through the COVID benefit checks, the COVID checks, stimulus checks. But what happened was the ruling class took that as a sign to basically, like, raise all the prices and steal all that money back. I mean, they basically just, that's what they did. They stole that money back by raising prices. They didn't have to. It wasn't like they needed to. It wasn't like the pandemic forced them to. It was because they could, and they say it again and again and again in their filings, in their yeah, in their meetings and in their reports and stuff. They say again and again and again. All these different corporations say again and again and again. We we are making record profits now, despite despite COVID and inflation. We're still making record profits. They're making record profits. So that then you think, well, then why should we even give people money if they're just going to raise the prices every time? Like, what's the point? Like, if I give a poor person $10 and then all the corporations raise the price of everything by $2, like, the poor person is just still going to be poor, and that $10 is going to go nowhere. It's been inflated into nothingness. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. It's almost like you have a pot of water. You have a pot, right? And there's water inside the pot. Now, if you like leave it there, it's just going to stay there. So say you want to get that water moving. So you turn up the heat. Okay, fine. So now the water starts bubbling, starts boiling, right? But what happens is that as you turn it up, it starts boiling. All that water turns to vapor and it flies away. And pretty soon you're not going to have, you have like nothing. You have no you have no water left. It's all gone. That is what happens when you don't have proper taxes. Like, I made a machine about this in another episode on another world. I probably have to remake that machine so I can point to it again. Which is, maybe I can do that. Maybe I should do that next. Dark cave. Scary. And no coal, no nothing. Nada. No tengo nada. Oh wait, there's coal. I see it. I see the coal. And with the coal, I shall make more light. Okay. Excellent. Blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night. Okay. Well then. Look at this cave. It goes into the mountain. Well, sort of, almost. Yeah, I gotta do this so monsters don't come randomly and kill me and blow up my work, my hard work. Wild. Monsters spawn in the dark. Like that one right. Oh, those are animals. Okay. I still need more coal. So yeah, man, this is a lot harder to do without music. I totally need music. And like, my fingers are all unaccustomed to Minecraft. The mountain gives us everything. All right. Right. Thank you, mountain. dark back here. Oh. Sorry, I'm just lighting this up real quick. I don't like to be interrupted by monsters. Come on, baby. Okay, yeah. Well then, that's a nice start. Pa 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 pa. All right. Well, hey. Levers. So yeah. Okay. What else? What else? What else? What else? Gotta stop playing Minecraft and like concentrate on stuff. Oh yeah, the pot, the pot of the boiling pot. Water. If we keep like, if you want to stop the water from escaping, you gotta cap it. We need to put a soft cap on wealth creation, so that it doesn't make sense for the billionaire to amass more wealth. It takes more work to create less wealth for themselves, so that the billionaire chooses, instead of amassing wealth, it chooses instead to invest it in something. They can try to hide it, but then it gets taxed. Like wherever they put it, it gets taxed unless they invest it. There's like no point in holding wealth, is what I'm saying. Make it so it's pointless to hold wealth above a certain level, like a soft cap. That way, that money doesn't evaporate out of the economy. It stays in the economy. It increases the pressure. It's like putting a lid on top of a boiling pot of water. Instead of all the water evaporating, flying away, you keep that water inside the system, and the water gets hotter. It gets hotter. It does more work because it gets hotter. Because you don't let it escape. You keep it inside the system. And the only ones who get angry at this are going to be the rich, the wealthy, the billionaires. That's why they don't want to do it. They like having the money escape, and then they collect the vapor. They like that. Because then they can say, oh, I don't really have wealth, it's just paper. But yet they go and buy companies with it. Like, come on. Okay, another thing I wanted to talk about. Man, I'm low on energy. Holy crap. Let me get out of here. It's too loud. It's too loud. Can I make this like a workshop back here? So another thing I was looking at was do you know what a tanky is? A tanky. A tanky is a person who looks like they are left wing. They look like they're a leftist. However, remember I told you that the the system, the political landscape isn't a line. It's four different things. So here, what do I got? What do I got here? Let me see. That one. Oh no, that looks like the same. You can't even tell. Maybe it is the same. So bad at this. Okay. All right. Maybe I'm not so bad at it, and I'm trying. I'm trying my best. It's just not as nice as I would like it to be. Okay. So here's our political landscape. It's not a line like they want you to believe. It's four things. It's a four-way deal. Now, so there's a tanky is a person who looks like they're on the left, that looks like they're a leftist, right? People want to say, oh yeah, they're a leftist because they're into collectivism, economic collectivism, as opposed to economic freedom, laissez-faire. Let corporations do whatever they want to do. This one says no. You control the economy and direct it toward the good of the people. Man, this thing is super loud. Settings. Let me like control that. Audio. Ambient environment. Chill out, dude. All right. Okay. Woo. All right. It didn't do anything. It's still super loud. Audio. Weather. That's what I got to do. I don't mind ambient. It's the weather that was killing me. All right. Holy sh. Okay. All right. So you have so on the left, this guy looks like he's a leftist. But when you delve deeper, when you look past the surface, you see that a lot of his tendencies are authoritarian, because that's the other side, right? You have your economics. This is your economic angle, left, right. Left, collectivism for the economy. Right, individual for the economy, billionaires. But you also have this axis right here. This is for the individual's relationship, not to the economy, but to the government, the state. So this line is individual relationship to the economy, and this line is individual relationship to the state. Now, if you are pro-state, you think the government should control everything and the individual should be subservient to the state, you're high up on this direction. Let me like break that out there. You're high up on this direction. But if you think the individual should have all the power and there should be no state intervention, then you would be down here. So the anarchists would be like people who don't believe in state control over the individual, total individual freedom, they're over here. People who want the state to control everything and no individual autonomy are up here. People who want the total economic freedom, so let the economy do whatever it wants. There's no regulation. You can put whatever you want in the food. You can do whatever you want to the environment, whatever you want. That's on this side. There's no taxes, no government oversight, no nothing. And then over here is total government control, complete absolute government control. We're going to tell you what to produce, when to produce it, how to produce it, and then what to do with it once it's produced. We're going to tell you everything. Okay. So generally people are not on the extremes. Well, more or less. uh but this is how it's played out. Here, I can even make this easier. Easier. Bigger. I can make it bigger. Okay. Okay. So you can be on the economic left and be a Maoist. Believe that like the state should control the economy and the state should control the individual. So this is like Mao, this is like Stalin. These are like really bad people, right? I believe. All right. And you could be on the left, think that the government should control the economy, and down here, believe that the individual should have freedom over the government. So this is someone like the Dalai Lama. That the individual has like freedom, but the government should control the economy so that everyone is taken care of. And then over here, you could have someone be on the right, but there's different kind of people on the right, on economic right. You have economic freedom over here, let corporations do whatever they want, and you have people who think total government control of the individual. So that's over here. That is something like the conservative evangelical Christians who believe that there's no such thing as individual liberty, but corporations should do whatever they want. It's also the same thing like Nazi Hitler. Well, Hitler's probably more in the middle, but like George W. Bush, like the Republicans, they're up here. No individual freedom, but total economic freedom. So if you're rich, you can do whatever you want. But if you're not rich, you have to follow the state. Who controls the state in this situation? The rich. So these are like Nazis. Okay. And then over here, you could be on the right, economic freedom, and want total individual freedom. That's like Elon Musk. That's more like the rich can do whatever they want. But that's the problem. So that's more like Elon Musk. Elon Musk wants to believe that he is on the economic right, but he's also on the freedom side of it for the individual, economic freedom side. But the problem with this viewpoint is that it cannot be maintained unless he takes control of the state to suppress everyone else. So Elon Musk's idea invariably ends up over here, where if you don't have the money, then you will be controlled by the state. Individual freedoms only exist for the wealthy, according to Elon Musk. So that's what I mean when I say that your idea of a political landscape is distorted. You only see right and left, red and blue, Democrat and Republican. But that's a distorted way of looking at it. It's a one-dimensional model for something that has at least two dimensions. And whenever you squish something from its higher dimension into a lower dimension, you distort it every time. It's invariable. You can't help but do it because you lost a dimension. So if you have to distort it to perceive it, you have to remember the thing you're seeing is distorted. And you can alleviate some of that distortion by adding a dimension. So instead of just left, right, and you add this other dimension of up and down, now you have a better viewpoint. That's why I say Alex is a dirtbag leftist. he's terrible. Let me show you who Alex is. So this is a meme that was getting passed around in circles on Facebook locally in my local group. So Alexander McKay, you see Alexander McKay here, right? He's saying, so what he circled was this advertisement. I don't know what happened, right? I suppose that this group here, Unite for Ukraine, is the one who wrote this. I don't know if it's a real group. Maybe it's a fake group. Maybe I should check that out. Is Unite for Ukraine a real group? Unite for Ukraine. Add Times Square. Let me see what that is. I'm trying to find who paid for it. Who are they? No, I can't find anything on it. So I don't know where this came from. This may be a real thing. It may not be a real thing. But check it out. It says May 9th, Russian Victory Day, right? So what is that referring to, Russian Victory Day? It wants to refer to the Russian victory over the Nazis. Because remember, the Nazis tried to overthrow. Hey, Chanti, good morning, good morning. The Nazis tried to overthrow Russia. They invaded, well, it was the USSR at that time. The Nazis tried real hard, and they got really, really close, and the Russians sacrificed heavily in order to stop the Nazi advance. And May 9th is traditionally the day the Russians celebrate their victory over the Russians. However, Putin hijacked that victory day, and he tried to turn it into a day of celebration about victory of Russia over Ukraine. So the first original meaning of May 9th is USSR's victory over the Nazis. And Putin comes in and tries to scrub it out and change it into something else, into Russia's victory over Ukraine. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? He made a brand new frame, a totally different frame, and he overlaid it on top of a pre-existing holiday in order to confuse people, to take it over, to appropriate it. We have seen this happen many times in the past. Do you know the story of Easter? The Easter story? Well, in the West, Easter is about the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and it shows it's the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's what it's about, they say. But what they don't tell you is that holiday isn't just randomly placed. Like, in history, if that happened, it didn't happen when they say it happened. They moved it to be on top of a pre-existing holiday, pre-existing pagan holidays. There was already a holiday called a pagan goddess called Esther, or Esther or whatever. I can't really understand it or say it, but it was already a holiday there. It was already pre-existing. And the church came along and said, no. We're doing a new holiday, not Esther, Easter, about Jesus Christ. Yay, let's celebrate just like before, but hold this one. Yay, right? Easter, not Esther, Easter. And then the people just kind of went with it. And it got absorbed and it became the thing. It became the thing. It supplanted the holiday, the pagan holiday. Same thing with Christmas. Do you think Jesus just happened to be born on January or September, or I'm sorry, December 25th? Do you think that's really the day he was born? Really? No. No. It was put there because that is very close to the pagan holiday of solstice, the solstice. So they wanted to overwrite these pre-existing pagan holidays by putting in church holidays instead to overwrite. So the church was like, go ahead, keep partying, go ahead, keep partying, but this is the symbol we party to now, right? Yay, party to the symbol, yay! And the people just kind of went with it. Because back in the day, they had no way of communicating with each other. Villages were very isolated. So if you had an organization coming down from the Vatican, and it's like sending out missionaries to all these villages with instructions to do things, and it's being supported from an empire from without, like those villagers are going to have no chance to resist. They're going to go along with it. They're just going to go along with it. Like, sure, okay, whatever. So Putin is doing the same thing with May 9th. He's doing the same thing with May 9th. Whereas May 9th used to, or is, a holiday for Russia to celebrate its victory over the Nazis, Putin is overriding it and trying to say it's a holiday to celebrate the Russian victory over Ukraine. That's the power of framing. He's trying to make a frame. He's trying to make a frame and then sell it to the people. So now, just like the church had its priests and missionaries to go out to the individual villages and spread this program they already had established, and they were getting supported from the church. The church was giving them books, it was giving them a place to live, it was paying for their food, it was doing everything. The church was supporting them from without. So they were being supported as they went out to do this stuff and spread the word of the church into the villages to overwrite their holidays. Okay, so you have to look at Alex as the same thing. Alex is a missionary of Putin. He's been given instructions to go out and overwrite the holiday, May 9th, to be a holiday supporting the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And if anyone tries to be critical of it, then Alex can do his it's just a prank, or he can do his little shuffle and say, oh, are you criticizing not the Putin's appropriation of May 9th? Oh, but now you're criticizing the Russian victory over the Nazis. Oh, but Alex is not making this argument in good faith. He's a Russian agent. He's a missionary being supported by Russia. He's got millions and millions of followers. He's got big bot support. A lot of bot followers are amplifying what he's saying. He's got state support, right? He's being helped from without. He's not organic, dude. He's being helped from without. And it says here, it's not a pro-Nazi, right? These guys are not pro-Nazi. They're anti-Putin. But he frames it as if they're pro-Nazi. And then he says, he blames, who does he blame? The Americans and British. So he's calling the Americans and British Nazis for opposing the appropriation of May 9th. So it's as if the white supremacists call you unpatriotic if you oppose Trump's appropriation of the 4th of July as a holiday of European victory over the United States. If Trump says, "Oh yeah, the 4th of July is a symbol of European victory of the United States," and you say, "No, it's not. That's bullshit. You can't say that." And then another guy, the Nazi, will say, "Oh, what? Are you unpatriotic? Are you trying to oppose the independence of the United States?" You see, that's the same thing. That's the framing. If you adopt the framing of the Nazis, that's what they try to go for. They try to sell you a frame. They try to sell you a frame. Now, how do I know Alex is a bad actor? How do I know this? Because look at what he's selling. Ooh, bad. Okay, look what he's selling. Alex retweeted this. What does this say? This is a lie saying that Zelensky is the one who ordered the attack on Snake Island. You know Snake Island, right? That's the one where it says Russian warship, go fuck yourself. That's Snake Island. This guy is trying to say that Zelensky and the British were the ones who had coordinated the attack on Snake Island, not the Russians. What? Why would you say that? Why would Levy say that? And then why would Alexander McKay retweet it? That's Russian propaganda. That's a bunch of BS. That's lies. But he's retweeting it. It hurts Ukraine, and it helps Putin. Okay, but that's not the only one, right? That's not the only one. Another version is this one. Alexander retweeted May 9th, "Oh, Putin is looking surprisingly healthy for a guy the blue checkmark morons assure me was in surgery, insane, Parkinson's riven, catatonic, insert ailment here." So he plays a video where I guess Putin looks normal, like for a clip, which is easy to do, right? Easy to frame things. That's what framing's about. That's the point of framing, to create a fake image based on a sliver of information they give you. So, but this is explicitly pro-Putin and anti-West. This is Alexander McKay, right? This is him projecting. All right, here's another thing. Alexander McKay starts dogging on the British again and saying that their hardware is bad. But why would he say that? And then he reports the Russian attacks on Ukraine. Not the Ukrainian attacks, but the Russian. He's on Team Russia against Ukraine. He's pro-Putin and anti-Ukraine. This guy's against the United States, is what I'm saying. Because Ukraine is an ally of the United States. Like, if you're against our friend, you're against us. And then Alex over here is making fun of Stephen Colbert. Like, why? Liberal media's pretty good. Liberal comedy's pretty good. That's why it's on television, because it's easy to make fun of the right. It's easy. The right cannot make fun of the left because they're Nazis. Nazis have no humor. They're Nazis. Right? So there's no such thing as right-wing comedians. They're kind of there, but not really. Like, who are you going to pick out as a right-wing comedian? I don't even know any. Like, they're that bad. They're just awful. They're terrible. Because there's nothing funny about being a Nazi. Nazis are bad people. So this guy is making fun of liberal comedy. And then he's a tanky, but he's got his own radio cast, and he's got like thousands of followers. I wouldn't say millions. He's got thousands of followers. So here's what he's doing. Here's what. This is the power of framing. The same. What's his name? Does the same. Andy Ngo does the same thing. What's going on is over here, but Alex uses the power of framing to tell the opposite story and then tries to sell it. So, and he's on Team Russia, Team Putin. He's on Team Putin. This is like an old technique that they use. Now, here's that New York Times story. So Monday's commemoration, May 9th commemoration, will be a lavish government-orchestrated show of Russian might and claim of rightful dominance over a lost empire. A day to galvanize public support for the war by slandering Ukraine as a successor to Nazi Germany. Like, what? Why would you? The only reason why would you would do that to Ukraine is if you wanted to justify your invasion of Ukraine. So, but to many Russians, Mr. Putin's long-running politicization of the day is an assault on their identity, distorting one of the few shared experiences uniting almost all Russian families, and now using it to build support for a 21st century war of aggression. So yeah, May 9th was a holiday that all Russians celebrated, right? It was easy because everyone loves punching Nazis. It's great to punch a Nazi. It's so like everyone can cheer Russians beating the Nazis. That's great. But that's not the problem. The problem is Putin is appropriating it and stealing it to make it into a day of punching Ukraine. But look at here's a way that remember how they do the framing, right? Putin wants to take a story, an obvious story, and use the power of framing to tell the opposite story. Alex did the same thing. Let me give you an example. Oh, dude, come on. Okay. So the Russian government said more than 190,000 children had arrived in Russia. That's what the Russian government said. That's their framing. 190,000 children arrived in Russia, according to Russia. But if you don't buy their frame, if you look at the larger context, wait a minute, isn't Russia currently invading this side? Isn't Russia currently invading Ukraine? Like, with an army after firing missiles and killing thousands and thousands and thousands of people? So, isn't it better to say that Russia announces it has kidnapped 190,000 Ukrainian children? Because those children are not going back to their parents. They're not going back home that's been destroyed by Russia. They're being stolen and they're being sent into Russia. But if you buy their frame, if you buy the government frame, you would never think that way. That's how they get you, by getting your brain, by making you accept their framing and their thinking. That's how. So another way of doing this is like this: Russia invades Ukraine and kidnaps the children. So this here is Russia invading Ukraine. But the tweet that you saw from Russia only showed this part and said the poor orphan children have arrived in Russia, and Russia will take care of the poor children who are orphans. Never telling you why the children are orphans, why they're arriving in Russia. They just tell you how nice Russia is to take care of the children. That's the power of framing. This is what Alex is doing. It's the exact same thing. Instead of saying, acknowledging what's going on, they've tightened the frame to a tiny little aspect and then focus on that. It's the same thing with critical race. Yeah, here we go. Here's where the children are going. Here's where the children are going. Here's Ukraine, and the children are being dispersed all throughout Russia. So remember, the children have not arrived in Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine, stole the children, and spread them out all throughout the Russia. It reminds me of another country that did something similar under Donald Trump. That's why you have to be careful about buying frames from people who want to from bad people. Like, all you had to do was look at his timeline and to see that he's a tanky, that he is sympathetic to Putin, that he's not sympathetic to democracy, that he does not care about democracy. That's all you had to do. But that means you had to look him up, where it was easier to retweet a tweet with no context, but it looked like it satisfied your biases of being anti-West. But by doing so, you're actually working against your interests, because Russia, Putin has no interest whatsoever in anarchism. He will throw you in the gulags just as quick as everyone else. He won't care. He doesn't care if you're like yeah, no way. Putin's a jerk. All right, what's another deal? Oh yeah, here, check this out. Paul Gosar. He's the one who tried to overthrow the government earlier on today. And he's tweeting, look at this. This was like, what, 4 days ago. He tweeted, Russia is not our enemy. What? That reminds me of someone else. Remember this guy? Russia. If you buy their frames, it's pretty easy to see. It's real easy to see where these guys are coming from. Whose team they're on. It's not Team America. They're not on Team America. Like, I can't, like, it's real clear. It's real clear. White supremacists and Nazis are all on the same team as Putin. Ooh, I need your eyeball. Give me your eyeball. No eyeball. A little late sound. Okay, what else do I got? Oh yeah, here, look at this. Make America Great Again. Republican National Convention. I'd rather be Russian than Democrat. These two guys are on Team Russia. Against Team America, they're on Team Russia. Team Putin, Team Confederate, not Team America, not Team USA. I mean, how much more clear can I make it? Susan Collins called 911 because someone wrote a message in chalk supporting abortion rights on the sidewalk. That's why we say defund the police, because the police are not there to protect and serve us. The police are there to enforce white supremacy. Yeah. Another one here. Because, yeah, about that shooting that just happened, like yesterday, they're finding out the guy who did it is a right-winger who got radicalized online. But I'm sure what he got radicalized was by the same thing that Tucker Carlson is broadcasting every day. Tucker Carlson pushed the Great Replacement rhetoric on more than 400 episodes, totaling over 50 hours since 2017. That means Tucker Carlson is pushing the same thing, same ideas that that the white supremacist used to motivate his killing spree in Buffalo, New York. It was like white supremacists want a race war. That's what they want. That's what Tucker Carlson is pushing on his television show every night. He wants a race war. What that is stochastic terrorism, where Tucker Carlson isn't specifically calling out. Well, he's like, he's not specifically telling you what to do, but he's making it more likely that someone will play out what he's suggesting. So all he has to do is suggest it, and that someone will do it. That's the goal of what the right wing wants, because they're Nazis, they're white supremacists. All right. Sleep. Yeah. The one thing I find infuriating about right wingers when you try to talk to them about reproductive rights is that they keep referring to an imaginary baby, and I can't get over it. It's a form of brainwashing, like mental illness. They're kind of crazy. I mean, they're literally crazy. They make references to babies that don't exist. Like they're going insane because they firmly believe that babies are being murdered, but they can't point to any babies. There's no baby there. There's nothing they can point to. Nothing. There's nothing they can point to like you say, oh my God, there's a baby, a dead baby, a murdered baby. Can you show me where? No, because it doesn't exist. But they don't understand that. They don't understand that it doesn't exist. Like, for them, they believe enough that it doesn't matter if it's not there. They believe enough that it doesn't matter. And the way this manifests is, I talked to someone about this, and I was talking to them, and I said, okay, well, like, what do you think about the whole abortion thing? And they said, oh, well, I'm against it because it's wrong. I'm like, why is it wrong? And they're like, because it's taking a life. I'm like, how do you know that? And she's like, or this person was like, because the church says so. I'm like, oh, the church says so. So you follow, it's morally wrong because the church says so. So why does the church say so? Who does the church follow? And the church, and she said, the church follows Jesus. I'm like, oh, okay. So Jesus must have said something about it. Okay, what did Jesus say about abortion? and she said, well, Jesus said that life is sacred. I'm saying, oh, but so Jesus didn't actually say anything about abortions. And she said, this is where it got funny. This is where it comes out. And she said, no, but he would have if he had time. Like, Jesus would have said stuff about abortion if he had enough time to talk about it, but he didn't have enough time. He was too pressed for time to have time to talk about abortion and to tell people that abortion is wrong. So, but luckily this person could figure it out for themselves and say that, but Jesus would have said that. So, so basically they said Jesus would have said abortion was wrong if Jesus had enough time to say it. So that's why I follow. So I follow Jesus and what he would have said if he had enough time. And he would have said this, and I know he would have said this. So I'm saying what Jesus would have said if he had enough time, and I follow me. And I'm going with this person, trying to follow the logic, going, okay, Jesus didn't say it, but you think he would have said it, and you think this is what he would have said, and you go by what you think he would have said. So you're not going by what he said, but what you think he would have said. Don't go by what he said, but what you think he would have said if he had time. He just ran out of time, you know. Like, there's just things, you know, what do you want from him? He's not superhuman. Like, come on. He's only Jesus. He can't tell you everything. Like, that's important. Like, he just couldn't do it. He just didn't have the capacity. Like, there's things that Jesus just can't do, you know? Sure, you can say he's the Son of God. And sure, you can say he did all these miracles. But just because he did miracles, do you think he had the time to talk about something? No, that's why it's in. Yeah, I don't know. That just drives me crazy. So fortunately, so the same people that are talking about not their babies also talk about things that Jesus didn't say. They talk about not their babies and things that Jesus didn't say. And they're very, very, very adamant about it. Feel very, very strongly about not their babies and things that Jesus didn't say. Very strongly about it. In fact, history shows us believers in not their babies and imaginary and words that Jesus didn't say will kill people over this. Ooh, I saw that. Is there an Enderman? I saw the sparkles, dude. I know you're around here. Yeah, they believe so strongly in invisible babies. Or not even invisible, because they're not, because invisible implies that they're there, you just can't see them. No, these are non-existent babies. They are so concerned with non-existent babies and directions that are not from Jesus that they will kill people over it. And they will pass legislation, they will take over governments to pass laws over people who exist right now to control them for the safety of not their babies. They're not there. It's not there. There's nothing there. But for the safety of a baby that's not there, they will control living, real human beings and take away their real freedom. I don't know. Like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Let's see. I don't know. I've already talked about gun control. This guy got a gun in a state where there was no gun control and went to a state with gun control on purpose to make a point. His point is that gun control, state by state gun control legislation is ineffective. We need national legislation. That was the point of the gunman. The gunman explicitly got his firearm, his weapon, in a state with lax gun laws and went to a state with strong gun laws on purpose to show that state by state gun laws are ineffective. His demonstration was very, very effective. I paid attention. I noted his point that he was making. I noted, yes, that's a good point, Mr. Gunman. There should be a federal state gun laws to control the flow of firearms. This should not have happened. Why does it continue to happen? Oh, that's right. White supremacists are all about it. Because it works in favor of white supremacists. Because white supremacists have this other crazy idea about Tucker Carlson tells them this crazy idea. This Nazi idea, and then they buy it. So there was this thread on Twitter which tried to go over the political solutions for our situation. And it comes up to saying there are no political solutions. Because you have one party, the Republicans, who are explicitly anti-democratic, against democracy, who want to take power by any means necessary. They want power. They will overthrow the government to take power, and they don't care about rule of law. Explicit. It's explicit. You can't political your way out of it. They're criminals. They want to overthrow the government. They don't want to play along. It's explicit. It's explicit. So, under rule of law enforcement are the ones with legitimate monopoly on power. They have on force, violence. Law enforcement is the only one that could use force legitimately. Right? We agree under government that when we come under this in the society that we are going to give these individuals the power of violence. As long as they operate as agents of the state, they can use violence legitimately as long as they use it for the state. Okay. In order to enforce the law, right? Austin, so we have this insurgency. It's literally a seditious conspiracy to overthrow the government. People have already pled guilty to it. To seditious conspiracy to overthrow the government. The only way we're going to get out of this situation is by applying law enforcement to the people responsible. The solution isn't political. The solution is law enforcement. Does law enforcement serve white supremacy, or does it serve the union, multiracial democracy? I mean, it's the institution that's going to take care of this, because right now the white supremacists don't really need the institution. They don't need legitimate violence. They can just use illegitimate violence. Look at all the mass killings. They still have access to firearms. No change has been made to access to their firearms, so they can still get firearms. They still get pretty lax sentences. Even when they kill people, a lot of times they get out of it. So law enforcement doesn't appear to be necessarily on the side of the people. It seems to be very, very, very lax with white supremacists. The leaders of, I mean, like the ringleader, Donald Trump, is still out there spreading lies and creating conditions for the next coup, which will result in more violence, like more mass killings by white supremacists. Until this will continue to happen, until you deal with the leaders through law enforcement. You indict and arrest Donald Trump and all the coup leaders, because they're deep in government. There's a lot of them in government. Mitch McConnell. Look at Rand Paul. Rand Paul is the only person that stopped aid from going to Ukraine. Like that whole party, the GOP, refused to impeach Donald Trump. And Donald Trump used his power as president to what? Extort Ukraine. And then we have this tweet by a GOP representative saying that Ukraine is not our ally. Like, it's pretty obvious that the Republicans are on Team Putin. So if our law enforcement can't stop this party that's on the team of an enemy nation, if law enforcement can't arrest these people, like, who do they serve? Maybe law enforcement is on the same team as the people who are allied with Russia. Then are we really a nation of laws at that point? It's pretty important, Justice Department, that you guys take care of this real soon, because the longer you take, the more power they have to create mass killings through stochastic terrorism. Until you get the leaders, they're going to keep doing this and sending their shadow army to kill Americans. Until you get the leaders. You're taking your sweet, sweet, sweet time getting the leaders. And until you do, they're going to keep killing us. You're doing a shit job in protecting Americans. Get on the ball, Justice Department. All right, Pogokiro out. Peace. Stop.